don't see our leaders, actually dialoguing with each other.
Meritocracy of older people. You can see there's different elder councils from different tribal groups that are essentially running things and overlooking us young people.
Convince that person that, please, I am me, I'm not they.
Nobody even showed up to vote. It was only me and my roommate.
Welcome to South Sudan today. My name is Myong Kwant. You are watching us live in the United States. We will be having our show tonight, same time, same date, right here in the United States. I'm going to have number of viewers, a number of guests that I have invited from different part of the world, and these are South Sudanese who will be talking about great topic for our country. They are here with me, and some of them are actually on their way to come. I want to invite them, and we'll be able to bring them in, and you will be able to see. Our topic is right there. It's all about the extensions of the peace agreement in South Sudan. I want your perspective as a citizens, but tonight I will be talking to this youth, young people around the world, and I want to hear their perspective on the peace agreement in South Sudan. You don't have to be affiliated to any of the political parties, but you are a South Sudanese. We want to hear your view as well. And if you are part of these parties, that is perfect. You can tell us on your own perspective as a youth or as a citizen of South Sudan, by the way, and as also a party member of your choice. This show will be able to accommodate that. But for now, we want to wait for some minutes so that we will start our show. I'm waiting for the other guests from some part of the world so that they will be able to join me. I have two of them already here in the studio with me, and I will introduce them as time comes in. For now, I want you to go ahead and listen to some of the music. Thank you. Bye.
No.
All right, welcome to South Sudan today. Again, my name is Myong Kwant. Our show is going to start right now. And our viewers, I want to invite all of you wherever you may be. I do not have any technical know how to know where you are, but you will be able to let us know where you're watching from. And if you want to contribute, please, we will have great guests that will actually tell us and explain more in depth of their views about South Sudan and also their expertise, what they do in life. So if you have any contribution, I want you to also text and send your questions. We can also discuss that question as well. But for now, I want to bring in my my guest. I do have three of them, but one of them is not seen, and only one is actually live. I can see our sister and also author Tapitha Biel is here with us. We have brother Dengbol is also here with us. We do have Mary Maker in Australia as well. Dengbol is from Tokyo, Japan. He will be joining us from there. We have a gentleman from Nairobi. He should be joining us, but I'm not sure if it's too late for that person. We also have another one, another sister who will be joining us in Juba, but it seems that she has technical problem to get in. But let me bring in our viewers and our guests. Welcome, Tabitha. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing very good. How are you?
I'm doing well. And
Beautiful.
Sister Mary, welcome again. Are you at work? You mute yourself. All right. And also, Brother Dengbol, I don't know if you are very near to your camera. You can come in. We are ready. How are you? You mute yourself. Tafida, how are you doing?
I'm doing great so far. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How is Australia?
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm not coming to Canada.
All
But the place is so gorgeous. I'm telling you, it's so amazing. Yes. Yeah. I'm promoting you, Australia.
You're promoting Australia. Well,
Yes.
we're not going to
Literally,
fit
yes.
there. It has a huge land.
Hmm.
I'm not very sure that we'll be able to fit there. But
Mm.
let's jump into our topics. Our topic
Right.
tonight is about the peace in South Sudan. It has been extended one more time. The question is this going to be serious this time or not? But I want your perspective. And as our guests are coming in, they will join us. I want to hear from you, Tapita. You've been to Juba yourself not too long ago, about a couple of years back or two, I don't know. But we need peace in South Sudan. We don't want to go to war, of course. But before we get into that, let me know about your book. How is your program in Australia before we get to the show? Because maybe the rest of the invitees are on their way coming in. How is your book in Australia?
The event is coming steadily. We are approaching Saturday, and everybody is ready. I can tell you these people are amazing. The welcoming has been, whew, the hospitality. I can only tell you that it's been amazing. So we're getting ready for Saturday, and everybody else is kind of just getting their, shoes together. Except it's not going to be that much dance, but more listening and more conversation. So yeah, we're ready. We're ready for the book. We're ready.
All right, that's good. And have you engaged them in what the book's about, or you don't want to let the cat out of the bag?
Well, I have met individuals, and as a result of that, we kind of start that conversation as to what this book is all about, what I'm expecting on Saturday. First and foremost is for people to come, so then we can have the conversation that has always been my message. Let's start conversation about these social issues that we're dealing with. Not so serious to what exactly the book is, but of course, individuals and myself have, dive into that conversation already. So it's looking good so far.
Well, that's very good. Congratulations for that. And I want to let folks in Australia to not let you go. And hopefully they will pick up my disagreement of the book. But I love the book and I'm with you. We must.
You're not disagreeing. You are.
Yes. But now let's get to our topic as our viewers are watching. Let me introduce them to the show as well. Nyababa Duck is watching. I don't know where you are watching from. If you have questions, you can text and we'll be able to see. If you want to join, you can also join us as long as you have these two things. You must have a suit or a smile, both of them. That's all we need from you. Then you can join us. We have our super fan, and that is Sarah Dwell. Sarah, how are you doing? We have missed you last week. Actually, we were there last week. Yeah, that's true. And then Simon, you're down. Simon, you're down from Australia. Oh, yeah, that's first time, Simon, to see you here. Welcome to the show. Shual Machar Guy is watching from Kansas here in America. All right. You're not very far. You're my neighbor. And then Lam Goin Oth is watching from South Sudan. I would love to hear from you about this extension. What do you think? What is good about us, about it, and what is really seriously bad about it? So you can tell us your perspective. It's up to you. But let me get back to you, Tabitha. We are talking about, this is only one of the topic. The other one will be about the merit in South Sudan. And I really want to hear from youth like you. And that definitely will fit into your book as well. But let's talk about politics first. The piece has been extended again. What is your perspective on this?
Oh, what is my perspective on extensions? How many times have been extended right now? I think if I followed that enough, it's just been few times when peace has been extended, which then brings me to think, do we really need now our country? And if we don't really need peace, that means we are already in peaceful country, which then does not represent the current situations that we live in. So the point of it being extended over and over and over has gone beyond, a point of thinking of it, to a point of calling it, this is dangerous. I have to it as dangerous things to continuously be doing. As the fathers of this nation, they have to know that while they are residing in their residence and being served and so on, using the resources of the country, the rest of us are dying. If we don't live in the peace that we needed, if the country is not in peace, then the rest of us, the vulnerable ones, are the ones suffering, facing the consequences. But this is not new too. And it's not surprising that there has to be an extension of peace deal. My perspective on it is, to kind of just talk to the people of South Sudan. This is what's going on. And it has been going on. It's happening again for us. But for us to be able to, stay knowing that the country we've got as a people of South Sudan, we don't have any other, us are outside of the country, but this is not our countries. It is not where we find ourselves back home and begin what we always want to kind of build our own.
Mm-hmm.
But for it to be extended all the times, that just leads the citizens of this country to have hopelessness, to have no faith in what they have. When will we begin living in our own nation without the fear that has always been on our back? without the suffering that has always been, on the citizens, the vulnerables, the children, the women, the elderly. This is, I don't know. I don't know what word to use to describe my disappointments if this is something that has to happen, because I know it will not just happen this time. It will also. So,
Well, the
what
government said that the government said that the reason it's being extended is because the two parties and all the signatories, the signatures in the system of the Tigoni have failed to reach or to implement the the agreement to the point where in elections or a credible election can be held in South Sudan.
right,
And
but what is
we're
the
all
point
left
of
with no
failing
hope.
it? What is the
Go ahead.
point of failing it? That's really the question for all of us who are not aware of all the pieces that comes into what makes a party, whatever that is. The rest of the citizen are not aware of what could fail things when you are, actively working to make things work out. If it's been how long now? 13 years, 10 years of suffering, or perhaps I exaggerate that part, maybe 9 years since the war has started. It has been that long. Do you think we're really actively looking for ways to resolve what is really the issues? I think that's the message that these parties, whoever they are, they're sending out, that we are not resolving anything, and that the citizens of this nation are continuously suffering as a result of this.
Well,
But of
now
course,
it's
that's
going.
the agenda behind it. So then people can lose hope. But we're not to lose hope, because this belongs to all of us. This country belongs to all of us. And it's just a matter of times when all of us will find ways to use our voices to bring that peace for all of us, because it will happen one way or another.
Yes, but now it's eminent that we have no choice as a country, because if if we force this to election, right? Even if all the parties agree to do this election that does not meet the international standards, the world will not recognize that government. The world will not even recognize the system in the beginning. That's why America has pulled out. So to best, I mean, that's to me,
Mhm.
the best of the country. I think we can hold our grudges. The question now is, what is it that's going to be done differently now that will bring people that have lost it to believe that this will actually happen for sure? Because here's the point: even if the election goes on, does the situation change?
Yep. No, that's I think that's the point. The point is, let's drive people to the point of having no hope and faith in this nation they have. What is the point of not meeting the global, or whatever they terms it, to meeting the requirements that fits, the criteria of being able to run an election? What holds us back for the last 10 years to be able to get that? So whatever that is, whatever that we're not able to talk about, whether that we're talking about this in this forum, or if people are talking about it behind whatever that might be, there is something that is preventing these things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? Our best way is to find out how this can be done and actually do them. But if the people who actually are the one to do those aren't willing to actually doing them, and then just it's a decisions made for the rest of the citizen, that suffering is just going to be part of our lives, and it's crazy. It's
Mary,
really
do you have
crazy.
anything to add here? We want to jump to the next questions, but I want to hear your perspective as well.
Hi, Mio.
How are you?
And Hello to my sister Tabitha. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. Look, I'm actually at work, and this is being naughty of me that I have to talk while I'm at work. I did tell Myong before that I was going to be at work. I was able to listen, and if possible, I can participate. So, Myong, I'm not sure what my sister has talked about, apart from one or two things that I've heard because of the network breaking. I had to go and stand outside, but it's raining, so I had to come back inside. Now it's a bit clear, so unfortunately, I've missed what my sister has said.
The question, the
So if
question
you
is
just
on the screen. The question is on the screen.
no, I know the question, but you said what did you have something to add? So what I could say, I wish I had heard what my sister said, because it's always good to follow on so that you don't repeat on each other. But because I haven't heard what she said, whatever I say might be a repetition. So please do forgive. Myong, the question says that for the last 3 years, this agreement has been extended. So how serious or how likely is it that they will be serious this time? The question is, from me, very unlikely. Very unlikely, because if they could not commit to the first, we would forgive them. They haven't held up to their requirements the second time. We kind of took it, But when it comes to the third time, it's just not possible, It's not viable, it's not agreeable, and it's not convincing, that we will be able to believe in them anymore and say that they will hold up to their requirements. For me, it's a complete no. Like, I don't think the only way we can make them do what is right is by us, the citizens, all of us, coming together in one voice and standing as a solidified body, as a collective group, and tell them that what they've done is enough for us to take anymore. There comes a point where we have to say enough is enough, But it's unfortunate that we are so divided that we cannot see that. And so, because of our division, the few people that are benefiting from that country are getting away with what they are doing every single day, every year, every now and then. Because, of course, we are divided. There's no way they're going to, to win. And there's no way we are going to win with all the vision that we have. So for me, the simple answer is, I don't think it will be taken seriously, because if they could not take the rest seriously, why would they take this? What has changed?
Well,
So
the government is saying that the problem is that it's lack of money, is two parties or two different parties coming together. There's ambiguities, there's the things, there's no trust between each others, and this is the time to build trust. I mean, I can go on and on, but the question is, we are presented with a country that we have a choice now, and the only choice is to either extend or fall into chaos, because I would call it chaos. As if if we don't extend, what happens? The election will not meet the international standards. That's the point. But here's the next one that I want to. Emmanuel is in the room, but he cannot get in for some reason. Dengbols, he cannot get in for some reason. Go and work on that. But let's jump into the next topic. We'll come back to this because this is the reason why we have the whole show tonight. But the next
can I
topic
just add,
is yes.
can I say something to what you just said? Myung, I mean, who are children here? Like, we are no longer children, We are not dumb. We are not stupid. For them to keep saying it's all about money, it's all about resources to pull together this, I don't know who is still sitting and believing in these things, It's just, for me, I cannot buy it. So carry on.
All right. One of the issue that has been on social media for the whole week is about Dr. Riek Machar's daughters, Mare, getting married to her lover. I call it her lover, and it become an issue for some reasons. Um, I really love that the Tabitha is here because she has a book that's on this. It's a different angle, but it's pretty much the same. You are female as well. The fact that we have war in our country cannot prevent us from getting married to each other. That's one. The Denka Nuer things problems. Denka and Nuer have been for the last 100 years together without even government. You know that, right? Not only Denka, even the rest of the tribe in South Sudan. They have been governing themselves by themselves. They've been getting married and back and forth, left and right. But what is the issue now? Is it a female problems or is it actually a tribal problem? Why someone who loves her own boyfriend or husband, or someone who loves his own wife or girlfriend would make people go on social media having problems? I understand that this is a high profile family. That's Dr. Machar family. I know that. But what is the problem? I want to hear your perspective on that. Is it because of these divisions in politics, or is it something that truly within our culture?
I think personally, one of the issues with us is we don't really have individuals' problems or individual business without us kind of jumping in when we feel the need to. And of course, you mentioned this is a high profile family. That means for sometimes it feels as this is our business at the same times, not only to fit our social, expectations, but also when it comes to the current issues that we all have. Some of us are very very divided in ways where we always have someone to kind of hold accountable. And for the rest of Noor community, there has been that conversation, blaming all of that onto Urundit, that the issues is this and that. However we term things, however we kind of conclude it finds its ways into what we now have, and that is the marriage. When we treat the interrelational marriage that has been for the longest time, like you said, been happening between not just Dinka and Noor, but the rest of the country, it doesn't make sense that we would dwell on this as to why would these two people marry. We've been doing that. And as a matter of fact, even when the war broke out between these two tribes since 2013, how many Dinkas and Noor have intermarried? If we're to be honest and all of that. But of course, this is Riek Machar family, and this is his daughter. We have the need to kind of jump in however way we want this whole things to be. I think the issues of this is not an issue itself. It's just us needing to talk about them more negatively. I think love is love. It doesn't really matter. And the more we marry, the more these issues become nothing. Why would we marry? We already married before this. Wouldn't this just help us really kind of come together? Because I don't think this issues is just a Noor Dinka problem. I could be wrong, and it could have been taken that way long time, and we don't know. But really, there are Dinkas and there are Noors on the other side of the problems that sees the other people as their own people. My brother's children, the mother is Dinka. So now are you going to tell me this is not my family? That doesn't make sense, right? So I think these people are just being bothered because we've always been on their necks first and foremost. But there are also a big family, and we feel the need to talk about these things. So that part for me is not an issue. I don't think there has to be an issue because she and whoever this individual is are getting married.
All right, I will come back to you. Mary?
I you. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tabitha has said everything, Myong. I don't know why. Do you know that we actually lack something to do? We, the South Sudanese, we lack things to do. We lack things to say. We are kind of lost and confused. And
Mhm.
as Tabitha has said, what does it matter?
Mhm.
What is the big deal about it? For me, I haven't seen anybody. I haven't seen posts. I was only called, or not called. The picture was sent to me by a friend, okay, a Nuer brother. And this guy speaks Tongmonjang, so we were talking. And I was like, what is wrong with us? Why are we discussing it? Who's making it a problem? Who's making a big deal? And he said, oh, there's so much fire, there's fighting going on. And I said, well, that's because we basically don't have anything to do, you know? Because what does the saying say? And what is it called? An empty mind is the devil's workshop, you know? We are not being constructive because our minds are completely preoccupied with things that are not constructive, things that are not taking us ahead. If only we were so serious with what our leaders are doing in our country, to the level that we get serious with these little things, you know, we would have been somewhere far. The country would have been in a more stable position than now. But look at what happens. Just because somebody is getting married to someone, it becomes a big deal. Probably the Nuer people are saying, oh, Dr. Riak has now betrayed us because his daughter is getting married to the Dinka. Oh, look at the Dinka. You know what I told the boy yesterday in a joking way, because he was telling me the girl is going to be a judge. I said, you know what? God is working. Let her go and judge these people now. You know, let her go and sit there and actually judge them. I was saying it as a joke, but seriously, why would we talk about it, Myong? Why would it become a big deal? It's only because we are pretentious, we are hypocrites, you know, we are all confused, we do not accept the truth to be told, you know, we just want to keep running away from the truth. For me, to be honest, the only thing that I base everything about now is the fact that we have lost not just the vision of the country, but we have lost focus on our own creator. When we were in the war, when we were fighting, some of us who are now all over the world, in America, in Australia, wherever, we were all praying to get to these safe places. What were we praying to? We were praying to a God, to a living God. And now what has happened? We have turned our backs to Him. So all we are doing is to just do whatever that we desire, our heart's desires, not what is right. So the moment we begin to go back to God and begin to do the right thing by Him and fear Him, because when you fear God, you will fear to do anything wrong by somebody else. Because you
Well,
cannot say you love God
some of these
when
people,
you don't actually love your neighbor.
some of these people fear
What's
God.
that?
They seem as fearing God. But here's my question to both of you, and thank God you are both female. I'm not asking you whether you are married or not. That's not what I'm talking about here. But can you are from Denga, married, can you get married to a Nuer man? And the same with Tabitha. You are from Nuer. Can you marry to a Denka man? Now go ahead.
Just get me a Dinka man already. There's no question about it. Like what? Yeah, there's really no question about it. Yes, yes, I would marry to a Dinka person. This is not a person issues. This is a political things. For us to make it to be a family thing, destroying us to the level that we are in right now. I think Mary said it all. We're we're confused. We don't know what we're doing because we really lost our ways in who we really are and what it is that we really served. And the God that we've always been praying when we were in that low level,
Mhm.
He's no longer in our midst because we are so far away from that reality.
Far
We're
from us.
not. Yeah. Yes. In an
All right.
outfit, yes.
I want
I
Mary
would
to
be.
jump in. Let him try. Mary, can I get you a Nuer man as well?
Yeah. Huh?
He's
Can
thinking
you get
about it.
what? Sorry, the network is the
All
network
right, sorry.
is
Tabitha said, I
bad.
asked the
What
question.
did you ask?
I asked the question if Tabitha can get married to a Denka man. They say, oh, right on, get me a Denka man. Now I'm asking you, can I get you a Nuer man as well?
Myong, this is what I told my friend yesterday. Hey, I told him, you know what? The next person to go now is me. I said it yesterday. So your question is too late. I'm already gone. So
Absolutely.
if you
Yes.
got someone, I'm ready.
Okay. Well,
You
here's
know,
the point, and I
these
like
are
what. Uh,
so.
Let me read what Uncle Bol
Oh,
here said, and he wrote something very, very nice, very precise, and I want to read it to you. And in fact, let me put it on the system. He said, "There's no need to bring up the questions of marriage. It has been simply an individual thing, and in the Nuer term, if not forgotten, Nuer used to say, check telejawit. That means a woman doesn't have a fixed address or country or something, can be anywhere, right? She could be married by anyone or can married by anyone who fall in love with her. There's no point to discuss it in my view, in this point. In my point. That's his point, and that's truly he's right. Now, the problem is this one. The problem is not about Denka cannot get married to a Nuer person, or Nuer cannot get married to a Nuer person. But this is how our country has been politicized, even at the level of a family. These people who are saying that Mer cannot get married to a Denka man, and they even say treat my Yagdi as if they are not part of South Sudanese, is because of politics. And here is the problem, and this problem will be inherited by youth like you. How do we get rid of this to the people that are younger than me all the way down? Because the problem is not just individual. There are some people that are even have, and still thinking that people cannot get married. Why? It's just because of the politics. How do we separate politics from our general or regular life? You are educated. How would you do that?
I think one of the ways is to speak about it, like right now. To educate people, that sort of things takes time. And there are times when it becomes a family things where if we live in South Sudan, like you said, has been, kind of embedded in the politic itself. If we live in South Sudan, we have to deliberately tell our young ones that politics is a separate thing and that family is another. If we don't have people, for example, like yourself, Mio, you have daughters, you have sons that eventually will, get into this system because we want our kids to get married. And sometimes they're going to find themselves on the other end. So if you're not willing to telling them that this is the reality and have the ability to separate what is not, and then that will then itself carry on for the rest of our life. And the chance for our kids to change that, for me, is very slim. So one way to do it is to educate them by actively telling them that this doesn't define who you're going to love it, who you're going to fall in love with eventually. That Dinka and Noor are not enemies. They are families, but there is an issue of politics. And that, for the longest time, has taken that front seat for all of us. But we really have to be telling them that that is not the reality. And that will be the education. And we have to do that
I
by when
want
you have to let them go ahead with that. You have to let our young people to have a relationship. Because the problem is not that they don't know that they can love themselves, is that as soon as they do, we behind the scene will disagree with them. And that makes it so
Mhm.
hard for them to realize that they
And
are the
having
one.
a question behind the scenes, I'm going to ask you two specifically. And I'm sorry to call you off guard, but I want your answer. Both Tapitha and Mary. Mary, can you hear us, right? Can you hear me, right? Okay, good. Um, do you have a Denka music in your car? Same to you, Mary. If I go to your car now, will I find a Nuer music in your car?
You would find both. Although I don't speak the language, the Dinka, I do play their music. Because when it comes to music, there's really no language. It's just music and you. Um, of course, there are some types of songs that you can't play because they're more about, how to continue fighting, which is something that the musicians have to really take a look at. But the regular ones, the one that talk love, the one that speak about peace and so on, yeah, those are the ones that we personally have in my possession and played.
All right, Mary. If I go to your car now, will I find
Um,
a music? And what is it?
nah, you won't find any music. You know why? Because we don't keep them anymore in the cars. We go about all around with it. So when I need the music, I just go to my phone, YouTube, and play the music straight up.
Okay.
So, and to be honest, there was a day I woke up. It was on a Sunday. I just started playing this "Free at Last" song. Even though it's in English, it just brings back to me everything, everything that God has given us, but then we ourselves are abusing it. The
Mhm.
talents that has been given to our young people, the incredible wisdom that we have. So for me, when I go to the music, I cannot name the musicians. And to be honest with you, I don't listen to any of the worldly music anymore. I just listen to the gospel. So only on one occasion had I listened to a Nuer gospel, but because I don't understand what it's saying, I just followed through because I felt like I just needed to listen to it. So yeah, I don't have any music in the car. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking you this is what Tapita said, that behind the scenes we are opposing what is happening, and that is the reason why I come up with the question. And this is exactly right. This will change for sure. I know it will change, but here's the point. Um, in order to change this rhetoric of politics of divisions, we must start ourselves in many events here in the United States, and I'm sure in Australia. It's very rare that even people that are going to a party or events or a wedding is very rare that you will see South Sudan in that room. You either see only one one state. Even in let's say Bargazal, you will not even see. There's a time I went to a Denka, was it a wedding or something? I only found people from Europe, not even the whole Bargazal. You see, this is a problem with us, and it has to be changed. It's only young South Sudanese like you that will change this. But my next question to you, and it will relate to the book that you wrote. You say that it is a privilege to be born a man, right? I'm sure that goes across the aisle. Even the Denka man, Cholo man, all this is the same. And you wrote that in English. This is a good thing. I don't know if Mary found that book. The thing that you said, one of them is about how a man can get married, and then if the woman that he get married to fail to have a child, will get another one because this one does not work. And that's the consensus point. It's not right. Why? Because it's not her fault. But the question here is that when it's come to culture, you are educated youth from South Sudan. How will someone from another tribe, just like, I'm not going to talk about marriage, she's too educated to even, answer the question. But how will you convince someone else that is not Nuer about history that come from Nuer family?
That's a great question. Um, there was a I think not long ago, and I was planning to, read the entire thing, which I end up not
Let me
reading.
get someone trying to get online with us, but she can't. She's calling from Juba. So let me try to get to the person. Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. There's issues of not once you're not able to, to give birth at the timely manner expected. It's itself being a problematic in our culture as something that is practiced and believed across the board. Now, I'm very aware that when it comes to South Sudanese cultures, they're a little bit diverse. There's a tiny bit different. You talk to someone from a Nuak community, it's it's a little bit different. They might tell you something that's very different. And if you talk to a person from Murley, they also might have their version of that sort of thing. But when you look at it from all of us and from that whole perspective, the belief is to say, if I bought you, and the reason for buying is to be able to give birth, I think it speaks to the fact that we as a people have not really considered what it is that we marry for. If we consider that, and then we're not going to be struggling in defining what this is, because that itself tells us what marriage is all about and what is expected of women.
So
How,
are you saying
how
that there's no more dowry?
Well, the dowry thing will come after that. But what I'm saying is that there is a connection. There is a connection between, her being married and why would she be rejected at the end. If the reason for her marriage isn't for her to get married, and then why are we so surprised that she might not have children when for that specific reason it could be even a man, because at that point we're talking about medical things, something that we can't determine what it is, or we don't know what caused it. It could be a timely thing. People stay for a longer time. Eventually they're able to be pregnant and have kids. But the point is, why would you be told because you don't have a child, or you're not able to conceive a child at this time, we're not going to have you, but we're going to return you? Why is that? It's because that's the reason you were married for. I almost said the word you don't like.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't like that.
Like,
The buying thing.
that's the married
Mary,
for.
I want Mary to jump in here because we want to interact. Mary, I don't know if you heard what she said. She's calling where sometimes married a buying. She might have a point, but I don't agree with her. Now, do you have that problem as well also in the Denka culture?
Sorry, I think I've got people coming in, it's a bit noisy. So when you ask, do we have this buying thing in our culture?
Well, the question is, a man can get married, right? Pay the dowry and everything's fine. But after a year or so, the woman failed to conceive, to have a baby. And this, of course, she said this is a medical thing. It could have been both. But the question is, at most of the time, the woman is being returned back to the family. Two questions. I will make it one. Is that happening also in Denga culture? And is it something okay?
I think it's a case by case, to be honest. I have, oh, and maybe back then it used to happen a lot. I heard a lot about it, where even within a year, if somebody hasn't conceived, it becomes a problem, and the man either goes to marry somebody else and whatnot. Not so much as now, but yeah, it did happen. But again, it brings us back to, do we understand what we are getting ourselves into? You know, who ordains marriages? And like my sister said, do you marry for children, or are you marrying that person because you want, you know, as the Bible says, that person leaves their family and this person leaves their family and you become one. When you become one, why does it become an issue that when a child has not come between you, you look at that problem as someone's problem, and you don't look at the problem collectively and try to find out what is happening or even persevere through it? I know of some people who have stayed in their marriages for so long until eventually something happens. You know, culturally, maybe you get given to, you know, somebody to bear children for that person, and so on and so on. But the thing is, when we get into marriages, for what purpose do we get married? Is it just for children? Because if it's for children, that's why somebody doesn't conceive, and yet again we forget that 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 child, it's not the woman that brings the child, it's not the man, it's God first of all that gives that child, and nobody knows when you conceive that child, you know. So again, we have no fear, we have no regard for God. That's all I can say. And I think because of this distraction,
All right, I understand.
can't even concentrate. So I'm
Thank
just gonna
you.
listen.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah,
very much. We
yeah.
appreciate
Sorry.
your time. We do appreciate your time. Um, yes, we segue from our general topic, but it's because the other invitees fails. I think they're still trying. Deng Bolt from Tokyo is still online with us, but we can only see his picture, but we cannot hear him, and neither can we see him on video. So then, if you can hear us and you can also speak, you can turn on your mic. Your mic is actually off. If you can turn on your mic, then let's see if I can be able to hear you. So let me know if you can hear me now. Unmute yourself, and then I bring you in so that we will be able to hear you. Otherwise, we cannot hear you now because audio is also okay. That's no problem. Tapita, yes, go ahead.
Um, I think that issue, like Mary said, you know, there are communities, and as always, within the country, they're practicing this dehumanizing, you know, factors of our practice less and less. But we know that not to be true about Nuer and Dinka. Um, it might be something that we don't hear more about, but it's actually being practiced. And the issues is that we have we don't have a way to hear all about it. That individuals are rejected silently, and you know, for that very reason they just, you know, leave. And also the way it's done is also very weird. Sometimes it's not like, you don't get married, get out of my house. It's not as smooth as that. I wish that, you know, it's straightforward, because then you know where to go, or maybe sooner you're gonna go. Sometimes it's just the way the man, you know, treats you, because he rather have you do it yourself, do the leaving and all of that, because he doesn't want to have the responsibility. Or perhaps someone asking the question of, couldn't that be you? You know, why would you, you know, fixate it on the fact that it could be somebody else when it could also be you? So sometimes it's just like, there's other ways to do it, and it's that's those are the ways that it becomes very dangerous, because a man would then turn so angrily into, to this woman and treats that woman in a very poor way, because he carries this anger in his heart, saying that, but you're letting me down, because that's how they see it. They see a woman being the person that letting the man down. You want to give birth to these men that are ready to go to war for you. At least you have some men to your whatever kingdom, and you think that this lady is the one holding you back. Of course, that kind of spoken, and it's the but this is something that is going on. It has been going on, and it's continuously, being lived and practiced in our culture. Yeah.
All right, I'm being distracted here by this younger one. Yeah, that's right. Thank you so very much. We want to go to a short break now. I will be right back. Don't go away. I'll make sure that I get the rest of our invitees. But for now, we are going to a short break.
Oh, let me hear you sing. We are free at last. We are free at last. We are.
All right, welcome to South Sudan today. My name is Myong Kwant. You are watching us live in the United States. We are talking about, our topic is actually on our screen. Some people seem not to recognize it, but we do have our topic. It is right there on the screen, and it is about the election in South Sudan. This election is more imminent now that it will be extended again. And not only that, the election is extended, but it's actually the entire peace agreement is being extended. A lot of people are not happy about it, but the question is, we have no choice, but that's the only choice that we can have for now. I have Brother Dengbol from Tokyo. He's live now with me on studio, but he's still on the backstage. Yeah, I think he has a problem getting in. So I'm trying to bring him in as well. But Brother Dan, go ahead and try if it can work. Then we'll be able to bring him live. But getting back to the topic, and it is mostly about the election in South Sudan, and not only the election, but the entire revitalized peace agreement that was signed 3 years ago in Khartoum. The two parties have failed to actually implement the entire um, peace agreement, and this has been extended a number of times. So many times, our publics have gotten so tired for this. We need everlasting peace in our country, and that's what we needed. So, you want to discuss this, you can come from any perspective. I put it together as the youth that should be giving me their perspective on this. I'm getting great message, great point, and great ideas from Mary in Australia and also Tapitha, who just left from Canada to Australia for a book tour. If you want to join us, I have sent in the link. You can jump in and give us your perspective on this peace being extended again in South Sudan. It's not official yet, but that is where we are leaning toward. And that's why I want the public to talk about it, because this is our country. We should discuss our problem. But let me read some of what our viewers are saying here back online. We had a discussion also about the marriage in South Sudan, especially the intermarriage between tribes. The first vice president, Dr. Riek Machar, daughter, Mer, has gotten married, and a number of people are not happy about it. And this is something that should be a personal thing. This is an individual family, and this is a love that between two people. I don't know why people are having that problem. But what our uncle Bolt said here is very important. He said that, let me find it here. The Nuer and the Denka are in the same boat when it comes to the question of barren women because of the cattle they pay. Yeah, we talked about earlier about if a woman fails to conceive or give birth, a man will take her back and go ahead and marry another one, and this become an issue as well. Simon Yuadang, it is totally wrong for a man to divorce his wife because of her not getting pregnant and all that. Yes, that's right. That's your view. That's perfectly right. I agree with you. It should not be as such. We have who else here? Facebook. As far as I know, on my Jing side, on Eastern Jing, we don't return the girl to her family home, but could marry another wife. But if it happens again, no child. That should be on the girl's side. All right, that is very interesting. Deng Tong Dup say that Denka and Nuer should not get married. I mean, he says it's wrong, but I don't know why. Deng, come on, why not? These people are from this, not only from the same country, but they have a lot of affinities when it comes to culture. So if you can marry to a white person or a Mexican or someone from Europe, why not someone from your background? That should not be right. Well, let me bring inside our guest. Tapitha is ready. You can come in. And I have Brother Dengbol. Brother Dengbol, I still cannot hear you. If I can call you directly, then people will hear you. Then you can weigh in on this. I'm going to call you. Just prepare yourself. We will also hear you as you talk to me through my phone. Maybe the link that you have is not compatible with what we have here. But let me bring in Tapitha. Tapitha, how are you? One more time.
Great so far.
That's good. Let me try to bring in Brother Dengbo, and for a second, I'm going to give you a short music, then we come back. I'm just bringing him in using my phone, just for a short second.
Bayin wul ka o atung chwe, bayin wul magal tung chwe ma je chewe chor ban mor ayana kola bungar abungar abungar ayana kola bungar ayana kola chirwan ko adwan la ko kwenda yi madure wul ma jang dure wala ko dure gajang dure ma joker adur bai dai ma che wala gara che bang bang adam go akunyalo.
All right, I do have Brother Dengbol from Tokyo. He is not able to join us here now because of the connection problem, but I actually brought him in through the phone line, and I will take him back to the topic that we had that we have already exhausted. But I want to make sure that I get his perspective from that. Brother Deng, our questions from the get go was about the election that is very imminent, that's going to be extended. And the question is, we need to hear the perspective from the youth, people that will inherit this country down the road. What is your perspective, Brother Dan? Is it something that the South Sudanese can rally behind, or is it something that people should fight until our government listen to us?
Thank you very much, my brother Myong. I also want to say thank you very much to your guest, my sister Mary, my sister Tabitha, and many other guests that are listening and participating or following you all over the world in Australia, US, Canada, and also in South Sudan and many other places. This is Deng Bol, Arway Bol, the chairman of the Red Army Foundation and the Lost Boys and Girls Memorial Foundation. I'm currently speaking from Tokyo, Japan. This topic is very important because only a few hours from now will the government of the Republic of South Sudan, which is called Artigono, will be convening an extension session at Freedom Hall that will be presided over by His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, and of course, in attendance will be His Excellency the First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar. This extension is what I call an extension by the government, for the government, and of the government, without the blessing of the South Sudanese people. As you can see, there is no objection from the principal opposition in government, and that is the party of Dr. Riek Machar, which is SPLM, SPLA-IO, or SPLM-IO as a party. This came as a result of over 8 years of extension after extension and failure of agreement between the warring parties. The saddest thing about this is that it has been 8 years since the first non-agreement was actually reached in 2015. And since that time, the parties have either failed to form a government or failed altogether to actually meet the deadlines to hold elections. So this time, and as per the agreement of 2018, there was no perceived conclusion to the agreement other than elections. Unfortunately, there was no stipulation mentioned that if the parties, or should parties fail to hold elections, then there will be an extension or penalties to the parties concerned. There wasn't the Red Army has been very clear that you cannot continue to rule the country by agreements. And as you all know, President Kiir would have had at least 3 terms of office without any elections in just 2 years. By 2025, our country would have gone through no elections at all, other than the elections of 2010. So, and you know that our election terms are 5 years each. That would have been 3 terms of office without any elections. And I think our leaders now have come to the realization that the only way they can continue to rule the country without being pushed out because they have nothing to show for, and especially the last 20, which will actually be 21 years, in 3 years or in 2 years, will be to rule by extensions and by agreements, by integrations, because the prerequisites or the ingredients that you need in order to be able to hold credible elections will be full integration of all the forces to make sure that we have a unified functioning army. The other one will be to make sure that there is peace in the country and people have been able to return to their homes, that there are no more people in POCs, in IDP camps all over the country, and willing refugees are able to return back to their homes. And then census is done. Now, you cannot expect a government that has not won elections to do all this. So basically, what is happening right now in the country is by design. There won't be peace so long as peace is a requirement for elections.
So, Brother Ball,
yes.
Brother Dan, the reasons I'm not saying that I disagree with you, but the point is that where we are in now, it either make it or not make it. The question I'm asking you here is, if we don't extend this, because it seemed like it was a plan that it was going to happen like this, right? But if we don't extend this, what would happen for an election that will not be accepted by international?
Well, the people of South Sudan have no choice, because this is not their peace, this is not their government. Because if it was their government, the first thing that would have been done was consultation. The first position that the Red Army had was that the Red Army Foundation had is that the government of the Republic of South Sudan should not unanimously, by decision of the cabinet or by the principals, to extend without consultation, without consulting the people of South Sudan. That is one. Two, also consulting the holdout groups as well as other political parties in the country. And then when actually the decision comes that there will be an extension, then it would be an extension that is blessed by all the people of South Sudan, and that all the guns would be silent, because if those in the bush, including the recent active rebellion in Unity State led by General Stephen Boy, if they are not part of it, then what extension are we? Are too weak to even participate in this government. That's why they are never consulted. They don't matter to the leaders. If they matter to the leaders, then the leadership would have consulted the people, so that the people can basically back the agreement. But as you can see, our citizens are doing things that are completely different from what the government is doing. As we speak right now, there are a lot of killings happening all over the country, and the government does not even try to maintain law and order in the country. Why? Because they want it that way. You know, the worst thing to the government, to any government in the world, are peaceful, united citizens. If the citizens are united and peaceful, they can remove any government. But if the citizens are not united and not living in peace, the government does not need them. because what the government needs now, as Madam Tabitha, my sister Tabitha, had mentioned earlier, that they're living there in Cuba chilling. Majority of them with at least 8 V8 and crashes, money, their relatives are taken care of and they are okay. And their oil is flowing. Why do they need the citizens? So long as you don't attack Cuba, they don't have a problem. It is the citizens who have a problem. So this extension belongs to them and for them only. So another thing is, for Comrade Neil, what is very important here is that, yes, our leaders can take advantage of us as much as they want. I say this, okay, this extension can take place. 2 years is not a lot. We have gone through the last 8 years. Okay, we can take another 2 years. But this should be the aim. So the Red Army has designed a very clear position. And the position is that we can accept this extension to take place, but this should be the last extension. Should this government should Article intentionally fail again to implement this would be the end of it. Automatically, at the end of the 2 years, then the people of South Sudan should form an interim government that will that is composed of political actors from all over the country, as well as, for instance, like institute a supreme council that will take people of South Sudan to democracy.
Brother Deng, you say something very important, and I want to make sure that we revisit that. You say that a divided population is the best thing that can happen to a government. Now, are you saying that the South Sudanese that have been divided because of this war are the reason why the government is not listening to the people?
Exactly. Because even the Dinkas themselves are unable to even hold President Kiir accountable for the suffering of the Dinka people, if anyone wants to look at it like that. The people of South Sudan are not able to hold anybody, not the Dinka, not the leadership, and not the majority of the other South Sudanese people who are participating in this government. Because people are divided, people will always find a reason to have different opinions that are ridiculous and that are not beneficial to the people themselves. And the reason I'm saying this is because of the lack of unity, and it is usually instigated by our, it's either regional, it is tribal, or it has something to do with communities where we come from. For instance, you mentioned the name of Salva Kiir, then some people begin to take it personal, but this is not personal. President Kiir is the president of the country. And what happens right now is that it should be his responsibility to shepherd this country to where we all of us in South Sudan have a sense of belonging, that we have a chance to live in our country instead of being scattered all over the world. As we speak, we have more than half of the population. There is nowhere in the world where more than half of the total population of a country live outside the country. Another portion lives in displaced communities like POC and displaced camps. So when you look at all this, these are not characteristics of a country or a characteristic of a place. If I was president, I would be ashamed, because why would you carry a title that does not fit the reality on the ground? This is my point. But the disunity that the citizens exercise every day on communal, regional, and tribal basis is benefiting the leaders who care nothing about them.
So what do you think? Who do you think brought this disunity? Because I want to take you back to some of the question, but who do you think brought this disunity?
Well, this disunity was actually created by the leaders themselves. The leaders know when to go to you and give you the message that you need. Even if you go back to the history of how the SPLM SPLA that is started, is that majority of the civilians who were mobilized from their villages, people who had not gone to school, were not told that they were going to Ethiopia or to Bilfam or Bonga to get guns in order to go and fight the Arabs. They were told that the Dinka, maybe from Jongule, were told that they were going to get guns so that they can come and defend themselves from the Murle. And when they went to Bilfam, they were sent as far as Apanai. So it had nothing to do with the Murle anymore and all this. So the government or politicians will always tell you what is beneficial to them. So what the citizens have been told most of the time in the Republic of South Sudan is what benefits them. And the more that people continue to believe that that is what is good for them, then that's the thing. As you can see, all these tribal wars have been fought by the politicians themselves through the citizens. Have you ever heard President Kiir or Riek Machar insulting each other? They've never done so. In fact, they have a lot of respect for each other. They eat together, they love together, and they visit themselves. Even their kids are friends with each other. Why do you have some of the Nuer and the Dinka people not even talking as if they have a personal problem among themselves? No. You see, they always find a way to fight through other people. And so long as this situation continue among the citizens, well, they will continue to rule like that. Do you see?
Yeah, but Brother Deng, in 2013, a massacre happened in Juba. And I like what you are saying now. I just don't know when you begin to be that nationalist, because this is really good to hear this from you. You are a leader of Red Army, but to me, you are a leader of South Sudan as well. Why didn't I hear this in 2013 when things like this happened? Because what you are saying now, you don't know how many of those affected communities would love to hear you separating Denka from the leadership of Salva Kiir. But in 2013, there was no such a voice like you have now. What made you come to reality now?
You see, here is the thing. When we begin to generalize communities, this is when people now begin to be defensive. For instance, one of the things that I wouldn't want to happen to me is to be killed, okay, or to be discriminated against simply because I am a Dinka. I would rather carry my own cross. This is basically the thing. So most of the time when I speak from the context of that it is not Dinka, it is the government. And when you look at the government is a government that is made up of all the people of South Sudan are represented in this government. Whether bad or good, it is the government of the Republic of South Sudan. And most of the time, and this is also the argument that I've had with a lot of people from our brothers and sisters from Equatoria, saying that it is a JCE Dinka government. And I'm like, how can you call it a Dinka government when even your chiefs are paid through this government that you call a Dinka government? So I have been very consistent all along.
Well, they can be paid, but they don't have voice. Then they can be paid, but they don't have a voice, and that's what they meant.
Yes, even the Dinka themselves do not have a voice in this government. And if we put down our tribal or regional or whatever lenses that we have and look at it critically, you go to Barkazal right now, there is nothing that shows that the son of the land, the son of Barkazal, even in Werap itself, where President Kiir comes from, there is nothing that shows that a president comes from that land. And I have always made this point, that if people think that the Dinka are corrupt, or they are like this, or Dinka have rooted the country, Dinka are the ones ruling and all this, why is it Kwajuk not the best town in South Sudan? And I've always said this more like a joke, that if it was the case, if this was a Dinka government, why is every Dinka not well off? So this is a government that is led by certain people who have enriched themselves, among them people from Equatoria, people from the Nuer tribes, and people from all communities of South Sudan. Of course, people say that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. This is how it is. So I am a Dinka, but I don't have all the power that Tutkel has in the government. You see, so that's the difference. I don't have any. I am a Dinka, but I don't have the powers that Jemanunu Kumba has. So
this is very important topic that we are discussing now. If you were to be the age of the Denka councils of elders, would you be a member?
I don't think I would be a member because there is something here that our people need to understand. The Jain Council of Elders, as people know it, is really not a body that is recognized by all the Dinka because these people have never held a meeting with the Jain people. Mm-hmm. They have never explained their objectives. These people have never held any cultural event. They have never talked about the issues of marriage. Young people are killing themselves in Jongulei, in Barkazal, in Upper Nile, and in Abia, now between Abia and Twit, and these people have not said anything. So these people are completely illegitimate. I have seen them as people who have been basically, trying to survive on their own by, basically, they designed a platform that they can use to basically be closer to President Kiir.
That is true, but what?
Maybe using the name of Jim, but have never reported to the Jim people and are not benefit and are no benefit to the Jim people.
But what prevented? Because now it's very clear that one, a Denka, as people of South Sudan, should have come out, not individually, but should have come out in a big number, including Dembo like you, to denounce, because we know whether you are from Denka or you are from another tribe, we know that Denka Council of Elders do not cater to the people of South Sudan that are calling themselves the Denka tribe. They do not. We know that very well. The only part that we don't understand, the only part that the leaders that are seen as Denkas are not doing is that why don't you come out right away and denounce this group that call themselves Denka Council? It would have been better if they called themselves South Sudan Council of Elders, even if they were to be only all Denka. That would have been much better. Even calling themselves Denka Council of Elders, and yet you guys are beating drums behind them. This is why some, maybe not myself, but some of the people, many South Sudanese, are saying that this is a Denka government.
Let me tell you this about this Jain Council of Elders. It came out many years ago, and they had made many proposals to President Kiir, proposals that were turned out by President Kiir. And according to a lot of people, because I don't focus on them, Comrade Miang, if you don't recognize something, that thing does not affect you. I have never recognized the Jain Council of Elders as something of importance in South Sudanese politics. I understand that at some point they went to the president and they told the president to step down. Guess what happened? Majority of them have not been met by the president until today. So this group, as we speak right now, does not exist and has no power because the president does not want to talk to them or want to, and this is what happened most of the time. Every time you make such suggestions to the president, you are done. He will move on to other people.
But before they made this suggestion, they were the buddies of the president, wasn't they?
Yes, of course, they made some suggestions to the president earlier about governance and how to lead better and all this, and maybe from the perspective of Odinga, because there was a time they had even suggested that they should make Daniel Awed as an assistant president because they were saying, "Oh, now you see a lot of people are coming from Upper Nile. You have Dr. Riak on this side. You have Jorotaban. Then you have Mama Nyandeng, and all of them, the three leaders. Not only do they come from Upper Nile, but also from the same political ideology, being opposition to the government. Therefore, they needed more people also to come from Barakazal and all this. These are politics. But again, the president continued because of the pressure from the international community and many other communities in South Sudan vilified the Jain Council of Elders to the point the president started running away from them. And as the president ran away from them because they became a liability to him, then they also got annoyed and began to push back, saying that they don't want the president anymore. And by actually announcing that they don't want the president anymore, I understood that since that time until now, there are people that are very prominent that the president cannot meet anymore. So this Jain Council of Elders, I see it as a dead thing already because it has worked out itself, because it is already gone, because they are no longer in bed together.
So can you agree with me, Deng Bol, and the rest of the South Sudanese that said South Sudan has been torn apart and the problem has been the Denga Council? Can you agree with me that these people are the cause of the problem?
I don't think that it is because of the Jain Council of Elders. They might have contributed in any way because the Jain Council of Elders did not exist in 2005 all the way up to 2013. They were not there during the SPLM.
Well, you said there were proposals, though. Don't forget, you said that there were proposals that the president was rejecting, and the proposal were not coming in 2013, though.
No, I'm coming to that. It is because you say that that the problem was either caused by or the Jain Council of Elders contributed to a lot. I say that the Jain Council of Elders contributed somehow, but the problem has never been Jain Council of Elders from the beginning because all the proposals that they made, the president only probably implemented a little. And at least the Jain Council of Elders came to their senses and might have been the only organized group within the Dinka community that faced the president and told the president that things are bad and you must go. You see, the Jain people will not come out together because also the Jain people are divided. As you can see, they are different communities. And because it has been the system of the ruling government, and it was imported from Khartoum by those of Tutkel. This is where you divide the citizens and you rule from one community to the other. You come today and befriend the people of Bor. You bring people up. You make them powerful. You use them to oppress other people, other communities. And when you are done with them, when they have become more powerful now, you begin to destroy them. And then you go and build another community. This is what has been actually going all along. So it is very difficult for the Jain people to come up together because if the Boer people today, if they sit today and say that Kirmayadi must step down, there is even a possibility that there will be a great massacre of the Boer people by some people in Bargazal. and the same thing to the people in Europe, the same thing to people in Madinga, with the same thing to the people of Toy. So it is not easy to expect a certain community to say something like that because of the way our communities are designed. And you have seen this happening in what is happening in the Western Nuer, the Eastern Nuer, and those in, even there are great differences. You have seen even the followers of Dr. Riek Machar are killing themselves also for the same reason. So it is something that the leaders, they design it and they leave it to the people to execute themselves, at the expense of the
Brother Bol.
Brother Bol, yes.
I am a member of Venezuela Mayo. I support Dr. Riek Machar. I'm not killing anybody. In fact, This show is the only show that bring every South Sudanese together, and it's because Dr. Yomachar allows that. But here's the point. I love what you are telling South Sudanese, and this really works very well. I have a good question from Simon Yodang to you, and he said this. I have a question, Brother Deng. What is the way forward if we reach this level of mess in our country, individuals concerned about the nations, and in which we can convince ourselves? So what is the way forward? Because the thing that you're saying, nobody ever said that before. So how can we get back the country we want?
The way forward is this. I and the Red Army are organizing and mobilizing and uniting under an umbrella that we are giving President Kiir, Dr. Riek Machar, and the peace partners.
Well, before you get that, sorry, we have more people that are listening, that are live with that. I'm so sorry to ignore them. I'm so sorry, Chapita. Chapita, here with that. Do you have any input before she give us the way forward? You've been listening very carefully. You are youth, you are South Sudanese, and you are educated. What have you heard from Brother Deng? Do you have any input of a questions, informal question or informal suggestion?
Comrade, can I respond to this question and then Tabitha can come?
Okay, go ahead.
Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to say that the Red Army and I have decided to mobilize the rest of the Red Army from all tribes and from all regions of South Sudan to come together. That is one. Then to mobilize the people of South Sudan and to say that there is nothing we can do, because we cannot stop the government now from extending this. The decision has already been made, so let them extend. But we do not want more excuses after this extension. 2 years is not much. But we, the Red Army, and the people of the Republic of South Sudan must be watchdogs now to make sure that this agreement is extended and ends in democratic elections. Failure to do this, the people of South Sudan after 2 years must find an alternative way of moving forward without President Kiir and Dr. Riek Machar and all the people who are part of this, who are part of the Article should not, after failing to implement peace agreement for 10 years, should not be part of any government that will come after 2 years if they fail. But if they manage to successfully implement this agreement until it ends in elections in 2 years, all of them are South Sudanese, of course. They can participate in the next elections without any opposition. Thank you.
Tapisa, you will come. Part of the reason why they failed to implement is because President Self has said the forces of Dr. Riek Machar will not be. The ranks that come through Dr. Riek Machar will not be recognized. Is that something that you can also support?
Me as Dengbol?
Yes, as a Dengbol.
Well, if you've been listening to me on Clubhouse, I have made it very clear that President Kiir can also be blamed for 60% of the failure of the agreement, because there is no way you sign an agreement that you are not going to implement. And I said this in 2015, that do not sign an agreement if you are not going to implement it honestly and faithfully. And it's exactly what has happened now. So by saying that the forces will not be recognized, the ranks will not be recognized, or by dragging feet all the time, it is a total dishonesty and lack of recognition of the suffering of the South Sudanese people. I also said this, that President Kiir owned 60% of this agreement. If he had done 60%, the people of South Sudan from all tribes and regions would have actually exonerated him from this mess. They would have blamed Dr. Riek Machar and other peace partners. Unfortunately, not even his own 60% has been implemented. And now they're talking about if this agreement was designed to remove President Kiir from power, then he signed it. He should have accepted to be removed by this agreement. But not implementing it because it is bad for him is also in bad faith. And it's not good. And I don't think anyone would agree with him. So the agreement was, and they continue to talk about the agreement being difficult to implement and foreign. Then I said, then take it to wherever you found it. If the agreement is not South Sudanese, then why are you imposing it on the South Sudanese people when it is not South Sudanese? If it cannot be implemented, then why the hell are you implementing it? You see? And years are going. So there's been a problem with it, with this agreement. They are not saying they cannot implement it. I don't have a problem with people even sitting down and renegotiating the agreement if the agreement is difficult to implement. But it has to be people's owned. So if the agreement was not owned by the people of South Sudan, if it was imposed on them, then they need to call the South Sudanese people. Let me tell you, the National Dialogue resolutions were very good. Were very, very good. No one complained about them. If our leaders were governing this country in good faith, they would have sat down as brothers, even after coming back from Rome, wasting Pope's time and God's time for nothing, to come back to South Sudan and continue to drag their feet. They would have sat down, they would have shook their hands, they would have said, my brothers and sisters, let's just sit down, and then let's just say, President Kiir, you are president, Dr. Yang Machar, you are vice president, and all this. And they said, to hell with this agreement, we don't need disagreement. We are one people. And then they would have led this country with the blessing of the South Sudanese people. The conflict would have ended. But they are not honest to themselves. They are not honest to themselves.
Later when.
All right. Well, let me have our guests also weigh in. This is very interesting discussions, and Sister Mary and also Tapitha are here. Tapitha, this is the politics. You are in the midst of it. Mary, I hope you're hearing what we are talking about here. Brother Dengbol has given us a lot, and there's so many questions with less answer. Go ahead if you have anything to weigh in.
I'm just my jaw is just dropped. Just at the amount of information that is coming out of this person. You know, it's amazing how much we know, and yet is amazing at the same times, in a way, how much we're failing. Look at someone like Dengbo, knowing that much information. I personally cannot even stand the chance to speak like that because I have no idea what this are, and yet the system is falling apart at the front of all of us when we know how and when to kind of just put everything together. Um, all these warring parties and everybody else that's pulling away from, the mainstream, it's hilarious that we tend to think that by pulling away, by forming something else, by doing this, and then that eventually will allow us to go back to what this journey was all about, to finding South Sudan as a nation itself, which in reality is not even close to what it is right now. How do we get to that Sudan without the extensions over and over and over again? What is actually the map that will take us to that South Sudan? And you sort of just see it in everybody coming in and telling us, this is what we could do to make it work. But then we know that for the longest time, what has actually been part of the problems, I wouldn't say that's the problem, but part of the problems is that we run the government. Traditionally, we run it in a cultural way where we focus on our people, which then eventually is about individuals within that particular people. But what is the way forward? Of course, there might be, other areas that need to be looked at, and maybe there are different forms that have to be made in order to make it work all together. But how do we get to that point? Person like me, because I have no clue what politics is all about, and yet I'm talking about it here. it's hard. I'm seeing people that are not working, that are not doing what they're supposed to do. And I think our brother Deng put it really, really well, that the point is these people know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They're kind of causing the chaos. So then all of us can be divided. And I think they have done that successfully. And I think that's what we're living right now at this moment. We're very divided as a people of nation. If we can find ourselves back, if we can
Mhm.
find the youth loving themselves, seeing themselves as Sudanese, as South Sudanese, rather, not as of Anuak or Chuluk or Nuer or Dinka, we can really get away with what it is that they've been trying to put on us. But how do we get to that unity? That's the question. And I think that is something that comes all of us, wherever you are, as a South Sudanese, you really have to be that person preaching the unity that need to happen to us. Without that unity, these people already won. I just have to tell you, they already won. They know what they're doing. They've done it successfully, and we're divided. And I think that's the tools that has been working and is still working.
Mhm. We lost Mary, but Mary is coming back. Deng, you are listening. But Deng, I think you declare war against self-care.
No, he didn't. Did you, Dan?
Did I do what?
I think you declare war against self-care. Did you?
Oh, no. I am not in any position to declare war on any South Sudanese, but for my own sake and for the sake of the South Sudanese people and their country that they all suffered for, and in the name and in recognition of all our martyrs and all that, we cannot continue like this after 2 years. They must excuse us if they cannot get their act together.
But if you say that you're going to mobilize the Red Army, I'm talking about Red Army in a second.
Yes, I am mobilizing the Red Army to hold them accountable and to make sure that this agreement, this extension, and Article is scrutinized minute by minute for the next 24 months until elections are held credibly and fairly.
Now tell us about the Red Army. Who are these Red Army?
Well, the Red Army are all the children that participated in the liberation struggle during the war, from all the military camps, the IDP camps, and the refugee camps in Ethiopia, also in South Sudan. Some of them includes all of us who in the 1990s, early 1990s, mid 1990s, and early 2000 went to the West and continued their advocacy in securing peace through CPA, and then again through referendum up to independence of South Sudan. These are the people that I call the liberation generation. These are the people who were between the age of 0 to 18 at any given time between 1983 to 2005, and participated equally and maybe more than the adults, because they grew up in war and later on picked up arms and fought militarily. Majority of them also became the chief diplomats of the movement during the liberation struggle, and the suffering of the South Sudanese people was seen through them by the West, and that is why in the early 2000s the suffering of the South Sudanese people actually became something that the international community recognized, and that is why the U.S. government, through the Sudan Peace Act, declared that war in Sudan must end now, because suffering of these children is unthinkable. Thank you.
So those who went to Cuba are also Red Army?
Yes, sir.
And how about those who were in Khartoum universities, in school, fighting Arabs because of what happened in South? Are they Red Army too?
I call them Red Army because these are the people I call the liberation generation. And Red Army, they were called the youth of the movement. And these are the people we call the liberation generation, because every kid, whether you were in London, anywhere in the village in South Sudan, في جبل عالية in Khartoum or in Egypt or anywhere, so long as you were a Sudanese child at that particular time, you were called Red Army because Red Army was a jail, Red Army was a generation, Red Army was the youth wing of the liberation struggle. And like I said, the ages here that constitute actually more than 72% of the total population now are those who were between the age of 0 to 18 at any given time between 1983 to 2004. Majority of us who are listening here are within that age bracket at this particular time.
But, Brother Deng, Red Army did their job. The way you explain, I agree with it. But here are the problems. And I'm so glad that you align with me. You explained this. To me, that Red Army I know have lost the visions of carrying on the struggles. They decided to support their uncles in position of supporting the system in which brought them up to where they are.
Yes, you are right, because the power of our uncles and the power of our tribes and the power of our regions have prevailed over everything that we have built. You are now talking about the Red Army, but it is even very difficult to believe that someone as loyal as President Kiir, someone who has lived through 2 wars of Anyanya 1 and then SPLM-SPLA war, people like Dr. Riek Machar, going back to James Waniga, Paul Manyanga with our good Kong Nguyen, and all these people have lost the whole vision of SPLM-SPLA, which was greater than the vision of the Red Army. Because the Red Army was a tiny unit within the SPLM-SPLA. These people have lost the whole vision of the nation. So we only accomplish one thing, that is the Republic of South Sudan. But then again, we have not planted anything on it. So yes, our people right now are no longer following the vision, the Red Army, and it is because they have no power. As you can see, the only clean generation as we speak right now is the Red Army, because we cannot be blamed for anything. You, Myung, can actually today contest against President Kiir or Dr. Riek Machar, even combined, and the people of South Sudan will not blame you for anything. But these people can be blamed for the suffering of the people of South Sudan from 2005 until now. The underdevelopment that we see in the country today, these two principles are to blame for this, because they have been at the helm of leadership from that time until now. So the Red Army are used as tools of division, and majority of them are the ones they are divided. And the reason why they are divided is because they have been lured into following their uncles for political and social survival. Because if you don't belong, then okay, I will give you an example. In Juba, people think that it is all the Nuer people that were living in Juba at that time rebelled and went to the bush. Majority of them did not go to the bush because they wanted to follow Dr. Riek. They ran for their lives, because if you don't run and somebody who is fighting a tribal war and finds you and you are a Nuer, they'll kill you. Just like the Dinkas that were killed in Bor, the ones that were killed in Bentiu or in Malacca, they died simply because they were Dinkas. And if they were to run away, they're not running away because they don't want to be with Riek. Even if they wanted to be with Riek, they would be afraid that somebody will kill them simply because they are Dinka at that particular time. This is the vulnerability that the South Sudanese people are going through.
Well, but then This is something that we should recognize. You as a leader of the Red Army, or as a member of the Red Army, or as a youth, because I rather call it the youth, because Red Army would only factor to one group. If you did say that correctly, that people were killed because they were Denka, it was because, now this is going to take us back to politics again. It was the cause and effect. What happened in Juba? You said very right that people in Juba were running away. They were not running away because they were supporting Dr. Riek Machar. They were running away because they were being killed. And they were being killed simply because they were Nuer, right? That's the point. But the question here is, that is the right time that the Red Army would have, come out and say enough is enough. These are South Sudanese. They have nothing to do with Riek Machar. These are Nuer who part of this government. Who are part of this war when we were fighting Jalaba. And this, from right there might have not been even a killing somewhere else in another part, because those people that were, I'm not saying that is something that they could do. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. You cannot, retaliate. But these people might not have been killed because why? There's justice somewhere in Juba.
Mr.
Particular time, the Red Army
Mr. Young,
only been
Yes.
formed for less than 1
Or,
year. At that
talk,
time,
or
not
can
even
I
1 year.
I weigh in, and then I need to
Yeah.
get out because of my phone.
Yes, you can come. Oops. Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Do
Then
we?
Tapita wanted away and she wanted to leave.
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just wondering if we have another something other than this part of our discussion, because my phone is running battery.
I think we have exhausted the time. It is running late here now. We have actually the next 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility of discussing the other topic, and then I can leave you because my phone will die like instantly?
Yeah, you will come and don't go very far if we have time. Yes, definitely. You can go ahead, and then if we have enough time for the other topic that we already went through, then you will be able to come back. All right. Yeah,
Okay.
brother, go ahead.
I want to weigh in on the other topic, because that topic that you discussed earlier, and especially the intermarriage between different communities in South Sudan. I want to say something. I want to contribute to it. Most of the time, when I speak to people, I always want to share my personal story. My personal story is my little sister, who is our last born. She's now 30, I think about 32 years old. She was born in Ethiopia, in Penyendo. She went to Canada when she was very, very young, around 2003. She got married there. She fell in love with a Nuer guy, I think Eastern Nuer from Upper Nile. They had a kid together. Now, when it came a time for the family, for the two families to sit together now, to for the marriage to take place, the father of the boy came out very clearly in front of the community that between me and Dinka, there can never be any marriage. I must tell you, I don't come from a family of, of a dynasty or a great family or politicians or all that. But as a family, we are okay. At that time, my dad was alive. So my dad, my mom were there. I have three sisters. I have one brother. We are a moderate family. We are okay. We are not a bad family. So, and my sister is beautiful. So there's absolutely no issue. But simply because of being from Dinka, and because of all the bad memories and all that the division that politicians have caused our communities the last few years, since the wartime, since the 1980s until now, that happened. Now my family, we are now caring for that little boy. His name is Twatch. You see, and my sister has since remarried and is happy. Now, You see, my family, we don't have any issue with anybody in South Sudan. And I was speaking yesterday on one of the forum that that the number of people from my family, my own family, I come from Triches County, a place called Congon. Since 1991 until today, the number of people that I have lost from my community that were killed by other communities is way greater than the number of people who have died of natural causes. We never attacked anybody. We have never been very much involved in politics. It has never been our war. We have never been at war with any community. But the political war of certain people continue to kill our people. It is what is killing my relatives right now in Equatorial. You see? So basically, our people have continued to pollute the minds of our people, and it will continue to affect generations. Recently, I was in Khartoum. And Young, I want you to hear this. I met with some Nuer leaders who are, by the way, a little bit older people, some generals. And I told them that what you have done to your community, Nuer people, the great nation, the North nation, is something really bad. I said you reduced your community to something small that die every year. And I challenged them this way. I said right now, every time you fight a war, why is it that whenever you unite only for 1 to 2 to 3 months, and then later on you are all divided, and then you leave your people to kill yourselves? You see, the only thing that the Dinka has been successful in doing is that no matter how bad the leader is, that is their leader. And if somebody goes along and says something different, all of them will try to talk that person down and say follow one person. I challenge them that because of the suffering of a lot of the Nuer people. You see? So the suffering of the South Sudanese people all over the country is the same. But look at what is happening in Upper Nile. I said when the White Army captured Bor, captured Malacan, and captured Bentiu, with the Nuer being the predominant community, why did the Nuer leaders control Upper Nile, establish it and run it more like a nation to begin with, before going to even face Juba, to show the other tribes of the Dinka, of the Murle, the Maban, the Anuak, the Jir, that there is leadership in Dr. Riak and many other Nuer leaders who, by the way, at that time were the majority and were many in that leadership. That's one of the things that I get. At this particular time, the Nuers are scattered all over the world, not playing much role in South Sudan. As we speak in Juba, South Sudan, you don't see a lot of the Nuer people. They are quiet. They are all this growing up isolated in POCs, in Juba, and all over Upper Nile. I said, what kind of a community are you raising? Some of them, you have taken them back 10 years and have no opportunity and all this. The reason I say this is majority of these people, the Dinka and the Nuers, are being raised right now in separate locations, not being able to interact properly and together without education and without youth empowerment. And all they are hearing now is that they are fighting with the Nuers or they are fighting with the Dinkas. So it's going to be very difficult. In terms of marriage now, like now, okay, I know some of the youth, the young people. Young people really have not been part of this war. The problem is that they are being now inducted into this hatred and into this, and they are being told. And if we don't break the cycle now, for instance, if we don't work hard, and this is where I challenge someone like Tabitha and Mary, as youth, to work very hard in making sure that a bridge is built between these two communities, being the largest communities in South Sudan, because the Nuer people can break or make South Sudan. And the problem here is that they have not been a blessing to an independent South Sudan, because what they have done to the nation the last 8 years is actually really bad. I want to say this. This marriage of Dr. Riak's daughter to someone who's a Dinka from Wera is a clear testimony that the politicians are friends. They have no problem among themselves. The problem that they are only using, and I have always said this, President Kiir needs Riek Machar to stay in power. Without Riek Machar, President Kiir will have a lot of opposition within the Dinka. This I can tell you. Also, Riek Machar needs President Kiir, to be honest with you. Because without President Kiir, the young people will bring up even somebody else who is probably going to be even way better than President Kiir, who is even going to make a young leadership today that has become so shameful better. You understand?
Yes,
So
I'm bringing Tabitha, because you are saying great things and we are running out of time. I want Tabitha to answer what you say. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I encourage those of Tabitha to invest in the youth, to demobilize their minds, to take their minds out of this. Love is love. And it should have not even been discussed publicly because it is a personal thing. I am married to a Japanese. So why would it be okay for me to marry a Japanese but cannot marry a Nuer or a Letuko or an Anyuan? Thank you.
That's a very good point. For our viewers, this is Dengbol, and Dengbol is in Japan, in Tokyo right now. He is actually a Japanese South Sudanese. He married to a Japanese woman. So, Tabitha, this is so great. Go ahead.
So I think if I got him right, he said, "Why would someone marry from somewhere than to marry within?" That
Yeah, he
means
said,
Dinka and all of that.
why is it okay for me to marry a Japanese and not okay to marry a Nuer?
Exactly, it is accepted in a sense that what we're talking about is we're talking about the hatred that has already been created. It's not that we can't marry because we've been doing that. It's just that at this point, it seems to be the only thing that takes our attention. So then we can talk more about what has already established, that is the negativity within us. So of course, right now we're very okay that you have a Japanese wife, but then we're very not okay if you were to go and marry from North. That's just hypocrite. We know that is not reality. We know that in order for us to move forward, we really have to do away with these things and get them out of our system, of course. But that's the reality. This is the issue. We have it, and we'll still have conversation, about this problem. How do we get forward? It's just do you. If you love someone from Dinka, like I said earlier, get me a Dinka. I don't know who's listening, but get me one. But I'm just kidding. Or maybe not. So so I think we have to look at it from the point of how this system has messed us. Family has been messed, and we don't accept the reality. This should not even be a conversation because we are one already. What is the difference between the rest of us and Dr. Riek Machar? So there's no difference. And whoever that family is, because I don't know, but I think it's a good family. I think the last thing we have to fight for is that our children are getting married. I think that should be our conversation. That whoever they are, wherever they are in the world, that they can have this way of finding themselves and marrying each other. That should be the only conversation.
Yeah, Deng. Deng, have you met yourself?
Yeah, I'm here.
10 points from Australia said, Brother Deng Bol, you and I were in Juba in 2013 to 2015, and I never heard of you making such a statement before. I don't know which statement he meant. What happened now?
Well, I think circumstances changed, and at that particular time, objected to one idea. I said, as the chairman of the Red Army Foundation, there are things that we stood for, things that we did not stand for. We clearly said that there will be war if we have two armies. We said that we the South Sudanese people, do not need an army to protect our leaders. It is a political issue. If it is a political issue, we need an agreement that will guarantee elections. Because we are not going to use it, we are not going to protect elections using guns. So a national army is a national army, and Vice President or First Vice President Dr. Riek coming back to take up his position, will take up his position as a senior member of the government. Therefore, he does not need an an independent army. We envisioned and we saw it, and it became true in 2016 when close to 400 members of South Sudanese people from the two sides killed themselves in just less than 40 minutes. That is like, I don't know how many people per minute. That's what happened. What was called the J1 dogfight. That means we were right. Secondly, we said that it should not be termed as a tribal thing. And the more we called it a tribal thing, despite the justifications that many people had, that Dr. Riek was working very hard for those of Ezekiel Lul, those of Majak, those of the ones, I don't know, was it Denga or not?
Yeah, then
to be released. And then also another thing, Mama Nyandeng was also not supporting President Kiir, and it's a Dinka that the son of Dr. Riek, Dr. Garang was already with Dr. Riek. Those of Agal Machar also joined Riek Machar. There were reasons to believe that it was not a tribal war. But our people, because you cannot get fighters. Let me tell you something. In order to get fighters to fight your war, you must find something that you must be selling a product that weak-minded people will buy. So it was sold to the people that it's a tribal war, and it can only be a tribal war in order for people to get that. Even if the Nuer were killed and the Dinka were killed again, or what. At the end of the day, all of them are South Sudanese. And what these leaders wanted was to bring the country back to peace. So it should have gone that way and left at that. And then let justice be, because even one of the reasons why it is very difficult to implement this agreement, according to these leaders, is that they are afraid that they are going to be held accountable.
But brother, the problem is that you are brushing two people with the same brush, which is not, to me, is not correct. When you say that these leaders, there's only one president in our country. And I like the fact that you said President Kiir has 60% of the implementation quota for him. If this 60% was implemented, right, we wouldn't be where we are now.
I want to tell you, I have had an agreement. What I have always done is always given credit where it is. I have always given someone his or her right. I said this very clearly. Since the beginning of this agreement, only Dr. Riek Machar, Lam Akon, and other political parties have been complaining. Why? Because they agree most of the time the SPLM, IG, always try to play tricks. And then they are told no. The article in the agreement says this. And then it is redone again and it is done. Meaning, the government has been the one at fault. Now, there's a mistake here. As we speak right now, Dr. Riek is going to be on his way.
Your voice is going very far away.
Okay. Dr. Riek Machar is going to be on his way now to Freedom Hall to extend this. He has not complained. He has not said the agreement failed because President Kiir has not implemented his part. Instead, he has bought into it. And people like me, Comrade Myong, as you know, I know a lot about the inner workings of this government. I even know some of the deals that they have already reached. I even knew that the agreement was going to be extended and all this. These people are okay. They bought time together. They like it. People in parliament right now who could have not had a chance to be called honorables in the history of this nation are honorables today because of this horrible war that is killing our people and that has caused the suffering of our people. So these people want this extension. But Dr. Riek Machar, just like the Americans, would have fought a little bit with the people of South Sudan. But he has also reduced himself to being complacent to this. Instead of at least fighting with the people, because people like me will fight with him, will back him up when he says no. This
Brother Deng,
nobody, because the government is not interested.
Brother Deng,
like an opposition also.
Brother Deng, as we speak now, it's the politics, and politics is about numbers, right? You understand that for the last month and counting, the SPLM IO members of the SPLM of the parliament pull out. You know that, right?
Yes, I know there was that time. Yes.
Yes, and you know the reason why they pull out.
Lack of implementation. Yes.
Okay, isn't that fighting?
I'm talking about the extension now.
Yeah, because extension has a result. Extension come as a result. And if Deng, who actually become the person of the day now, because what you are saying is what we wanted to hear. I'm telling you the truth, right? But we need you as a number because in that parliament, IG fought so hard. The only way they know now to keep themselves to power, to make sure that this peace is not implemented, is because they use the number. And where did they get this number? They get it from the Red Army. They get it from the Dinka. They get it from those who don't care about what happened to their families.
I want to, Comrade Myong, to be honest with you, at this particular time, majority of the people in South Sudan are not standing with the government. This is a very good time for the SPLM-IO to have stood up and said that the suffering of the people is increasing simply because the government is unwilling to implement this and is now plotting another extension and want to rule by extension. Then they would have the SPLM-IO would have been a true opposition within the government. Let me tell you, a lot of South Sudanese are suffering in silence. And until we find a true opposition, when the peace agreement was signed, and the parties were dragging their
so who are suffering in silence? Then who are suffering in silence?
The South Sudanese people, and the reason is that they want a voice that they follow. For instance,
well, we have people in IDP, and they cry out loud. That's not silent. Who are these silent people that are suffering?
Are suffering in silence is that not only those who are living in IDP. I am talking about all over South Sudan in refugee camps. You know, I was in Khartoum the last 1 year, and Sudan is hosting over 2 million of our people. When I went to Penyendo, I found a lot, close to 500,000 of our citizens. And Gambela, as you know, is crowded now with the majority of the South Sudanese living there and all this. Everybody has given up on this issue. People want leadership, and want leadership that will say, we have suffered enough and we cannot continue to rule this country through extension. And we also wanted Dr. Riak to come out, even if it is difficult, we know that he's in a difficult situation, to come and say that enough is enough, that these elections must be held by all means, and if not, that the legitimacy of this government has to be called into question. And guess what? That is where leadership comes. A lot of people who have no voice will find their voice within that. And this is basically the thing. Anyways, this extension is going to take place. The most important thing is right now, all of us, the people of South Sudan, young people like Tabitha here, must now increase the volume, and we say we have given you 24 months to get your act together, and it must be done. This will be the last chance that we are giving our leaders. If President Kiir and Dr. Riek Machar can depend on each other so much, then they will do the right thing. They can choose either to run against each other after the elections, after preparing for elections, or to go together again as vice president and president. It will be their own arrangement. But we will not extend past 24 months.
Good. Well, Brother Deng, we are run out of time, and it has been great discussing this with you. I'm here with Tabitha, and our time is definitely running out. But one thing I want to let you know, Brother Deng, there's never been a wrong time to do the right thing. To me, you are doing the right thing right now as we speak. Why? Because this is our country, this is our nation. I have been telling people from day one that when the Nuer was massacred in Juba, I don't call it Denka massacre Nuer, even though Salva Kiir was the Denka. I say the government massacred the Nuer people. And what I meant by that was that even though some of the Denka shared behind Salva Kiir, it was not a collective decision for people that are Denka to think that Nuer should be killed in Juba. So for you to come out and tell it as it is, I really appreciate your voice. But the only thing you need to know that it was not too long ago when Dr. Young Machar was being called as a killer. He is someone that spoiled South Sudan. He's a man that have stabbed the SPLM behind. But now, for you saying that he's not fighting enough, this is very encouraging. And I agree with you. SPLM-IO as a party will fight and has been fighting for the interests of South Sudanese as a whole. And that's why you see that so many Nuer that are against Dr. Riek Machar today, because he chose to fight for the entire country. So I can see Dengbol making a great move forward for our country. Having said that, Brother Deng, I want to give Sister Tabitha a chance to recap of what we discussed, and then in 30 seconds, and then I will give it to you, and we shall complete our topic for tonight. Tabitha, pick it up from where I stopped.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our brother, Dengbo, for all of the, the amazing things you have said.
Okay.
We only wish that this is the nature, this is the manner in which we started talking about these issues from the get-go. But like you said, Mia, there's never a time where we would say, well, this is too late. This is not too late. We need to start now. Actually, the time is now. It wasn't yesterday, but it's now. And now, once we picked it up, we can actually make the impact that we've always been wanting to be made in our country. So having said that, I will just, I have very little knowledge of how the politics runs. I have no idea. But I come in as a citizen. And as you have heard in all the songs that I sing, my message is for the people of South Sudan to love themselves. We really have to know that we got nobody else. We can run to the East African countries and tell them, come and help us. But until we come to the point that we realize we, the people who have the cultures and and the way we govern ourselves prior to having this nation, we have the way to changing how we behave toward one another, because that's the only thing that will change us. But most importantly, we need to know that the division has already been made, And in order for us to actually kind of break that, we have to have a way to allow love to kind of just reign. And things like, marriages that are happening, like what we just experienced a while ago, Dr. Riek Machar giving his daughter to a community that does not, Nuer community. I think that's very encouraging itself. So we really need to encourage all of this, because eventually they will work better for our tomorrow, the future, and so on. So I think this discussion has been really, really well. And so for people like the like Denbo, please keep doing what you're doing, and also as well, you have been very supportive in ways that are unimaginable. So please keep doing what you're doing, because really we just need more of us that are thinking and doing what you are doing. So thank you.
Who fought very hard to liberate our country have not been able to develop you people, the youth, between 2005 until now. As we know, the youth or young people constitute 72% of the total population of South Sudan. It is this 72% of the country's resourceful people who have been greatly divided now along regional and tribal lines. It has become very difficult because you need a compass in order to lead the next generation. Our generation of the group that is known as the Red Army, during the liberation struggle, we were given political and military orientation. And that is why most of the time our people, some of us, majority of us to speak, finds ourselves in positions of leadership and take ownership of the issues that are affecting our people. It is because we had great mentors, we had great leaders, we had great people to tell us what to do and what to prepare for, especially for the future. We were prepared for this nation. The sad thing about what is happening today is that our people have not taken the time to invest in you, the youth. The only consolation that I see here is that majority of you are in diaspora, in East Africa, and in Western world, and in many other places, and you have access to opportunities. I encourage you to get involved and develop your own leadership skills, but make sure that you align them to what is happening in South Sudan, so that when you come back later, you can contribute to the reestablishment of our nation. As you can see, South Sudan is yet to be well established as a nation state. And this is something that is going to require very educated workforce, and that will be the youth. So I encourage you to also look at your own social dynamics, including the recognition of your tribes. It is good that people like Tabitha and Nibol, as youth of South Sudan, to share one stage and speak freely without any hatred within them. This is the kind of youth that we want to develop in South Sudan. Otherwise, people like me and Myung, who are a little bit past the age of youth, who are in our 40s right now, or to what I would call midday kind of age. We will not rest well if we know that we are leaving this nation to nobody. We, at the time that our leaders were fighting very hard during the war, they were the age I am in now, and they were able to raise us, they were able to mentor us, they were able to bring us up. So we will only be happy, and this is where I appreciate the leadership of Young now, bringing the youth together through platforms such as this, because this will be his contribution to South Sudan of the future. Because without preparing a generation that will work together as one people, developing one nation, recognizing that they come from different communities as we come from different families, appreciating their diversity, but still unite for a common good of the nation and work together. So, Comrade Nyong, I appreciate the time that you've given us, the platform, and thank you very much for giving this platform to the people of South Sudan, particularly the youth, in order for them to find sense of belonging in discussing things that affect them directly and things that will help them pull South Sudan out of this problem that we are in. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so very much, Brother Dengbol. It has been my pleasure talking to you live, and this is a continuation of something that we need. We are South Sudanese. We need ourselves. We have done so many bad things to ourselves, but the only persons that will come and turn around to change this is only us. Like Deng said, I put this platform together. It's not for Espela Mayo. It's not for anybody else. It's not for IG. It's not for anybody else. It is for South Sudanese. And that's why I, a member of Espela Mayo, I see that this platform is for anybody. You don't have to like me to be part of South Sudanese. I don't have to like you, but we must agree to disagree on our views when it's coming to politics. We are educated enough to recognize our differences. We are educated enough to recognize our strength on how we can progress our life. South Sudan is only 11 years old, and the world is already tired of this young country for so many crises after crisis after crisis. We are everywhere in this world. We are in South Africa, we are in South America, we are in North America, we are in Asia, name it, we are there. And if we can contribute for the betterment of this country, we would really, really change our country for the best of our youth that are coming up. Kenya is going for elections on the 9th of this month. I think it's something that South Sudanese would keenly pay attention to that election. If you talk about tribes, there's so many things that are happening in Kenya that are just as bad as us. They are as tribals as we are in South Sudan, but the leaders decided to shake hands and say enough was enough, and let's put our country first instead of our parties or ourselves. This is something that we can do as well. I appeal to the leader of our country. The extension of the peace agreement, to me, is also to save any any chaos that would happen. It's not that it's something good we can do. We do not have choice, but if it's something that we can do now, let's make sure that together, let's walk the land of South Sudan and implement this peace for the betterment of our country. Enough is enough for all the things that we have been doing to ourselves. Yes, so many people are so bitter, so many people are so angry, and so many people have been displaced. Many of these people live in ID camps not very far away from J1. And I have not seen the leader of our country for even a single day to pay attention, to pay a visit to these people. These are South Sudanese, and these are the future of the country. So I'm going to leave it as such. I want to say thanks to our pundit that I have brought it together with me. One of them is Brother Deng, and Sister Tapitha and Mary. They were both giving us great point, and I really, really appreciate your time, my fellow citizen. Thank you so much, Brother Deng in Japan. Thank you so much, Sisters Tapitha in Melbourne, Australia. And thank you so much, Sister Mary Newell in Perth, Australia. I can't even say it right myself. For that reason, I want to say thanks to my viewers, those who have been watching. Please tune in next week, and we will be right here at the same time, same place. Thank you very much. I shall see you all when we come back next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Young boy, Lord Mugwa and Shannon, Jacka Warnya, don't make a more day ganja. Come here by your pin, will I do Badundan Kerry?
What am I? You like the jam, like the kind of make 'em round. Japan, I'll go and I'm ganga. Come, you go be you won't like you.
Yalchingerom, Kurachugainan, it could yell to the Choida, Kayan and Burkham, Jishikir, Yalajin Karadu, Jin Karadu, Yalijin Kara. Hey, Bang, open King Major Kana Queen. Baratul Kadwini and Kayetken, look by the Kajiba and Kajika Chokan. Burangasa. When the gua, right the gua, hit to go, young to go, like you and by your pee, y'all by your pee, baby. Like the gua and Shannon, get a warring y'all, don't make a more day ganga. Come here by your pee, will like you Badundan Kerry.
What am I? You like the jam, like the kind of make 'em round. I'll go and I'm ganga. Come, you go be you won't like you. Nam nya, con young again. Right now to go to Ladity, and like the beauty quite quiet. Ya can ye go long, yo, you queen, can you make me can? Nam nya. Paraguay do Navana Jome Logan I Mutedi and Tame Baloike Shaman go like the go pay Jagashabla Palwa
Loin Lugua and Shannon Jacka Warnya, don't make a more day ganga. Come here by your pee, will I do Badundan Kerry?
What am I? You like the jam, like the kind of make 'em round. Japan, I'll go and I'm ganga. Come, you go be you won't like you.
She not Guadajuk,
she not Guadajuk.
Mangoraman, she comes a love on Jalkel Yoda.
Chabashi in a lunga, Shaman come in my shop. Putting my head, putting my head. You like the job, make it. Suck my production. Make 'em run, jump in a girl, go and I'm not dead. Come, you go, you know my love.
Get up, I will alone. I'm a leg, you my leg, run down wood. Ayana kola jirwe.
Mr. Lakala, I'm not done here because